Hey everybody, post editing Sam here again. The last couple of EX episodes were just like, ugh. Anyway, so the way I recorded this was on a Zoom call, and I thought I had selected to because on Zoom you can record everyone's audio separately and like it'll split it for you. I thought I had checked that. Apparently I didn't. So what you're hearing is just the straight up Zoom call. And actually it didn't turn out that bad. It was like, so you'll hear some like Discord notification noises going off in the back and then, some other things like from time to time. But really it was great. I love Trapped in Anime so much. I just love these guys. They're great. We had a great conversation about content creating, what they do, the kind of content they make, what anime they enjoy, what games they enjoy. And it was just really good, man. I just love it. I love getting with other content creators and just shooting the shit, man. It's so fun. And if you guys haven't checked out Trapped in Anime, go check them out right now on Instagram, social media, on YouTube, especially, and just have fun just kicking it with us, man. Anyway, here's the episode.
Let me go ahead and give the final word on this, not just to you, Tori, because you're a lost cause, but to the world. Allow me to say this.
All right,
This is an audio only podcast, but I'm going to turn my video camera on anyways, just to
what?
The video's on my point.
The video's on.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anime Summit Podcast. It's your favorite host from Mouse, Sam the Bomb, and welcome to another EX edition episode. And today I am joined by a really awesome group of content creators called Trapped in Anime. If you've never heard of them, you really need to go to their YouTube channel and follow them all on social media and follow all of their stuff and all their content they make and all the great stuff they're doing for anime. And I have three of them here with me right now. We have Joe.
How's it going, everybody? First off, thank you for having us on the show, Sam. This is Joe of Trapped in Anime. That's really about as interesting as it gets for me. You don't need to follow me on my socials. Just follow Trapped in Anime because there's a lot more interesting to see over there than on my pages because I don't do anything.
And then we have Tori.
What's happening? How's everybody doing today? My social, Instagram, Shingmaster, SHINGMASTA_SCF, and I'm with Trapped in Anime. It's like it's the best ever. I have so much fun, like too much fun, where I don't want to do anything else. So
I feel that. And then we have, last but not least, Mattia.
Hey, I'm one of the editors for Trapped in Anime. I also have a YouTube channel, Tomato Eyes. I do paranormal stories, interviews, and also I have another separate ASMR channel I'm getting up and running again. But I do have a few videos already done on my channel. Editing has been super awesome. I've known a couple of the members for a really long time, and it's just really nice to get back together and crank out these videos. Gotta love some anime.
Did you say you do some paranormal stuff like exploration, discussion, and stuff like that?
For now it's interviews. I haven't done one in a while. It's been honestly like a year since I did the interviews. But I had a lot of paranormal experiences and I started like meeting people that also had them. And I thought it would be really interesting to kind of delve into the urban sort of paranormal activity that goes on that people kind of like, you have to live in the house, so you can't leave, so all kinds of experiences happen, but people, try to continue on with their lives. And so I was just trying to capture those moments like documentary style. So there's a couple interviews online still. I still want to get back to doing that, but I didn't really go ghost hunting. It was more like the stories.
My partner would love that. I'm going to tell her about that. Well, because and that's interesting too, because a lot of paranormal stuff, they're like, oh, let's go into the famous house way out in the country, woods, whatever. Mm-mm. But you're talking about every day. Like, no, it's not just those weird houses out in the middle of nowhere. It's everywhere. It's like Ghostbusters, like it was in New York. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I just I'm so happy that you guys are here because mainly I've been watching and thank God for Facebook, right? Because I deleted my Instagram and Twitter a long time ago. And so I only have my Facebook for just friends and close friends and family, and when I make new friends, obviously. But you can use the Facebook like ad stuff to like boost your posts and stuff. And I have a lot of anime stuff coming through my feed, obviously, because I'm on an anime podcast. And then Trapped in Anime came up, and the first video I ever watched, oh my god, which one was it? I think it was like literally, I think it was just a gun, and you were just like, I'm gonna show you how to disarm.
Oh,
Street survival, yeah.
The anime street survival videos are so hilarious, and that's when I was like, God, this, I think it was one of the latest videos. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was the battle axe, or I think it was the battle max or the Will Smith slap. I don't remember, but I was like, I have to message these guys and see if like they'll just talk with me, because this is so hilarious. Where did this start, and like whose idea? I mean, I know Mattia said that she's been video editing for a bit, but like whose idea was this to start Trapped in Anime like itself? Like,
yeah, I'll say to give kind of the history lesson. Of course, I'm one of the founders of the group. The other founder, my friend David, and another founder, Mike. We've been, we've been friends for a very long time. We've been working on videos together, both, collaborating on some professional projects, or definitely doing our own thing for quite a while. And I'd say maybe at least a good 5 years ago is when we decided, hey, we've got all this talent, we've got all these people together. Let's just try to take it more seriously, make it something official. And we created Indifilm, which is our company's name, and our biggest IP is Trapped in Anime. And of course, things like Anime Street Survival, Sticky Death Note, other sketches that we do, that all falls under that subcategory of the content that we do. As far as like the creation of Trapped in Anime, I'll go ahead and attribute it to Dave, as far as coming up with like the initial concept and coming to us and saying, hey, what if we took real life scenarios, but we add all the crazy anime special effects and make it really over the top and dramatic. So making a sandwich in anime, dropping your phone in anime. So of course things picked up from there, and as time goes on, we're like, hey, let's try this. Let's do a parody of Death Note, but he's writing them on sticky notes. And every time he sticks a sticky note onto somebody with the cause of death, that's how they die. And we make a series based off of that. For the street survival stuff, that obviously is a parody of like the Commander Brown self-defense videos that he'd been doing. And then after we'd kind of gotten started and added our own flavor to it, it really just took a life on its own, way more than we expected. So it's really trippy. It's funny that that's like the first one that you saw too, because that first street survival video blew up. It was crazy.
I think for me, it was that video, and then like one I got right after that was like it started feeding into my feed, right? And it was like the carrying groceries.
Yeah, My Hero Academia parody.
Yeah, and you're just like using the all for one, or one for all. It was just like, it's so good. I was like, these effects are cool. Like they're using really awesome like animated effects over their videos, and people don't do that anymore. People go straight to like the over the top CG to make this fire look realistic kind of thing, right? And like that's fine, I think as filmmakers, I think that's like one of the first things people want to learn nowadays. But like it's cool that you guys are just using whatever effect you need necessary to like, get the point across, which is in anime, they have these really ridiculous, 2D things that happen all over. And then you have like people like Nakamura with the cubes, like in Mob Psycho or in the festival arc of My Hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I know it's very interesting just because of like, the amount of effects work that does go into it. And it's almost like as time goes on, things keep scaling themselves down in terms of the amount of time that we have per video or the amount of effects that we put in per video. And then it's like right when you feel like, okay, I finally cracked the code and gotten used to writing a 1 minute video, then it's like, we need it to be 30 seconds. And then we need it to be 15 seconds. So it's like, okay, new challenges, new hurdles to jump over. Let's try to figure that out. So it's real trippy, but it's problems you'd rather have. So
does Mattia's the editor, right? Does she do the effects too, or?
I am one of the editors.
Yeah.
Dave is the he's basically, I'd say, the lead editor. He
Mhm.
edits just literally in this last month. The other editors have started kind of taking on more to kind of lighten his load as we get more and more projects. So I had to learn how to do the anime style when I joined the team back in I joined in January, but I don't think I edited my first video until March.
Mhm.
Sure.
So that's
Yeah.
when I started. But I was used to like I did more of like educational films, documentary style and commercials. Those sorts of things is what I basically learned when I went to school.
Yeah.
But doing the effects and learning how to do the action has been pretty interesting, and I'm trying to get more involved with the action side of it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but
Kinda
I
cool.
gotta say though, to your credit, I think you caught on pretty quickly. It was really impressive. So, give yourself a good heap and helping of pats on the back for that. Good job.
People
Well,
have been
thank you, but I
cheering
had
and
a
praising you in the comments, saying how, oh my gosh, these edits are crazy.
Well, I appreciate it, but it was good to have the template though, because I literally didn't know, what to go for. Like I watched a lot of anime growing up. Like middle
Mhm.
school was all anime.
Right.
So like I had a lot of images in my head, but the execution was like, how do I do it? So I had to think through all that stuff, and he had some good examples for me to kind of look at. And I still can't quite do his style. That's kind of what I was trying to emulate, but it just became something completely different, which is, people, like you said, people do comment and they're like, it's kind of like they know when it's my sort of, spin on it. Just kind of like Mike just kind of came into his own just
Right.
recently with that.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, what's the name of the video? Somebody
Was
help
it
me.
the power outages in anime one?
Well, that one too.
With
Power
Enel.
outages in anime.
With Enel.
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
with Enel, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that costume though. That's all Joe. Costume is Joe.
Yeah, that costume was great. And like I actually just took my first dive into One Piece like a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
So like that video came like literally that video came like a couple weeks after I got past that arc. And I was like,
Nice.
oh, this is perfect. Like, this is funny.
Yeah, I could say
It's
for me,
amazing.
it's funny because like One Piece is a real tough nut for me to crack right now. But I can definitely say I'm a sucker for lightning characters in almost any anime, movie, show, whatever. So, and that was definitely the one that stuck out for me as far as One Piece. It's like, okay, I've got to do a parody of this guy because this is awesome. The drums, I had to construct that myself. That took some work, but it came together pretty well.
Nice. Okay.
I'm 100% caught up on One Piece.
Oh
I
my
don't like
god.
you. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
like you. I was. Okay, no,
I
I need
was.
to say this. I am a true diehard One Piece fan. Okay, but life got
Listen.
its way. I need to clarify. That's why I'm not caught up. Okay.
At one point in time, like I was
then
doing.
they announced it's about to end, man. I feel like I'm losing a family member. So every time I turn on an episode, it's painful. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm done crying now.
I know at one point I was doing security and like I was like literally like a 10-hour shift and
Oh
like
man.
hours in like it was an hour working, hour waiting in the office. Like I was like, I got to do something. I'm about to fall asleep in here, and the last thing I need is to fall asleep. So I was like, let me start One Piece. Never stopped.
Why'd you do it like that, man?
Never stopped.
I just do
I'll accept it because you're caught up. All right, that's the only reason. All right.
So you're caught up in the anime then?
The anime, yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting on the next episode.
Okay. I'm only reading the manga, but like
Got you.
somebody in my Discord posted a screenshot of the latest chapter, and not it wasn't anything spoilery, but it was like the end page. And apparently today's chapter or this week's chapter was like the signal of the end of the beginning or beginning of the end. And I was just like, because like the little message Oda put at the end was like, and here we go, here come the curtains. And it's like, oh my God, no way. So I'm like on chapter 930 something. So I'm a little over 100 chapters away from being caught up. But I understand that the fight with Kaido just happened. And I'm like, I just landed in Wano. So like, it's exciting.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
You're making me sad. We can talk about
Yeah.
any other anime. Can we talk about another anime? I know One Piece will get like,
Well, they're not. I mean, they're not about to be
like,
done for good. It's just a hiatus until they get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
man,
Less
it's
filler.
around the corner. Okay.
Yeah,
The real ending is around the corner. People are gonna lose their jobs.
They're not gonna.
The
They
movie bar
would
stores
never.
are gonna go out of
They
business.
would. They would never.
Man, okay, so my brother
'Cause
spent some years in Taiwan, and they legitimately have stores just devoted to One Piece.
just One Piece stores. They have a
Yes.
Hello Kitty hotel. They love that shit
Exactly.
over there. They like devote a whole business to one thing. Like,
What do
Speaking
you
of
do when
Hello
the show
Kitty, well, how did you feel when they said when they came out and said Hello Kitty isn't a cat?
bullshit. Bull. That is some
We're gonna
bull.
unpack this myth.
That is some bull honky. Because here's why. Because like, okay, like, okay, I don't have like a specific reason, right? But like, but come on. You really gonna tell me the motherfucker, her friend, the black bird with the beak, is a human? Like, they're a penguin. You know what I mean? And like, you really gonna tell me Kira Kuropi is just like a little boy just frogging it? Just jumping around being a frog? Like, or like
it's a frog hoodie.
come on. Come on.
So this is like the Christian Bale argument again.
No,
Like,
the
is
like
that-
the
is that what's
creator.
Here we
the
go again.
creator-
Here
the
we go.
creator
I
said
know.
that Hello Kitty isn't a cat.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't know how
said
to. I didn't know how to take that.
they said she was a little British girl, is what they said. Yeah. I was like, that's goofy. You're goofy.
Exactly. You are a goofy. You are okay.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah. Oh my god. And I could go on that for about 2 hours, so I'm just gonna cap myself right here. Just stop. Oh my god. I'm about to cry. Anyway, you guys have to understand something. Side note, this is gonna be like, before I started recording, we were arguing about Christian Bale. It was so fucking funny. Oh my god. You guys should start a podcast on your own. Like, honestly, like that was so good. Like, I'm gonna have to release that.
There's a point to be made there.
Yeah, I'm gonna release that on a blooper
Please
reel.
do.
Like, I'm actually just gonna cut that part and send it to you guys and be like, if you guys want to use this, just use it because it's hilarious.
Listen,
But yeah.
every now and then, I have to remind Joe that Christian Bale isn't what he's all cracked
Here we
up
go.
to be.
Oh my
I
God.
just,
All right, are
you know
trying
what
to
I'm
do
saying?
this.
Sometimes you got to tell people. Sometimes you got to tell people it's raining outside before they go out there, and that's how I got to do about Christian Bale. Like, listen,
Dang.
it's some pretty trashy weather outside. You should know that.
All right, Sam, tag me in on this one.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and give the final word on this, not just to you, Tori, because you're a lost cause, but to the world. Allow me to say this.
All right,
This is-
tag.
This is an audio only podcast, but I'm going to turn my video camera on anyways, just to
What?
further hit home my point.
The
Just to
video's
hit home
on.
my point.
The video's on.
So here's the deal, people. Here is my personal scale on who are the live action best Batman actors. First off, disclaimer, Kevin Conroy doesn't make the list because that's not fair. That's like saying Batman is the best Batman actor. It doesn't count. We know he is the GOAT. He's in his own category. He's in a league of his own. We're going to leave it there. Ben Affleck, number one for me. Up until Zack Snyder's Justice League dropped, I would have said Ben Affleck is a great Batman, but he is not the Batman. Just for the fact that his character started in a different place. It was the story of a fallen Batman on the path of redemption. He was killing, but it served a purpose in the story. But then by the time that Zack Snyder's Justice League cut dropped, erased all that. Now we've got a proper iconic Batman. He's full of faith. He's working with the team. That's my Batman, 100%. The costume is the best, the fighting, the gadgets, it's mythical. That is the Batman that you can see standing shoulder to shoulder with the Justice League. That is a Batman you can see fighting Darkseid. Cool, number one. Number 2 and 3 are a toss-up, but I would personally put Christian Bale as number 2. And the main reason I say that is, while it's held back by its commitment to realism, it is made one of the best because of the characterization of Batman. It is on point in that regard, and that's the strength of the Nolan trilogy. You have characters like the Joker. He didn't fall in a vat of acid, but as far as his characterization, it's everything you would expect from a Joker. No venom for Bane, but as far as characterization, the intelligence plus the physical strength, that's Bane. That is what the Nolan trilogy succeeds at. As far as just acting, as far as like the fighting, all of that is totally serviceable for what the story needs. Just fine. Pattinson, I would say, is a step back into the territory of Bale with commitment to realism. It's a toss-up, whatever. But to say that Bale is flat out trash for what? Because he didn't have fight scenes like Ben Affleck, or because he used the Christian Bale Batman voice, that's not enough to erase the entire performance. You've got to look at the story as a whole. And I also don't buy the whole thing of like, oh, the only characters to care about were the Joker or the Bane. Oh, Batman. No. You're dismissing lots of juicy material there. You cannot just reduce such a beautiful performance. I'm just saying. That is my what you got? What you got to say, Tori? Go ahead. Say your piece.
Listen. I will.
You know what? Shut up. Moving on. Next question, please. You're done.
Nobody said any of those questions you were answering, Joe.
But it needed to be said. The world needs to know. Like I said, Tori, you're on the wrong path, man. I've tried. I can't do nothing for you. But for the rest of the people at home, audience, America, heed my words. That is the truth, whether you know it or not.
Listen. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion,
unless it's wrong.
And then some people out here tell the truth, like me. So I'm just saying. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know.
Oh man.
Here's why that argument is great. Here's why that whole discussion is great. Because like, and just to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Because you guys are filmmakers, right? You guys are passionate about this stuff. You're like looking at everything from the acting to the production to the cinematography and all that stuff. And like before we started recording, I even said that. I was like, you guys got to join me and my co-host Danny for a cinematography episode. Because we should even just do the Batman movies. But like,
yeah. Hey, you know what's funny for me?
So in Man of Steel too.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. But what's funny for me is that I've figured out, not even just for movies, for like my favorite comics or animes or whatever, I'm a dummy. So like a lot of the deeper stuff, usually I'll get kind of a feel for it, but I'll almost need to hear somebody explain this thing means this. And I'm like, oh, dang, I didn't think of that, but it makes total sense. So a lot of like the deeper stuff, sometimes I got to seek it out and hear somebody explain it better than I can. But if that's the type of stuff I'm into, as long as the juice is there, as long as I got something I can sink my teeth into, totally there.
Yep. I agree. Because well, number one, that's how you get new fans, right? For anything.
Yeah.
And you want to share that like that thing about it that made you go on like one of those rants you just did, right?
Right.
And those are the kind of things like you got to explain to people sometimes, because like maybe somebody is not watching the movie the same way you are, or
right.
even anime.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You mean correctly?
I mean, look, let me go ahead.
Correctly.
I'll speak truthfully on this. Like, I'm not the final authority on whatever. I'm just a guy that can back up his points. But the thing is, you know, even when it comes to things like,
what are you saying?
I know.
Tori, we ain't got to get into it today. I told you, them Kazuya nerfs put me on edge, man.
I'll
Today's not the day. But the thing is this, like, if someone enjoys something that I don't, or dislikes something I don't want to take anyone's experience from them.
Right.
Just come to an argument with some valid points as to why you say this is this or this isn't this. Not mentioning any names here, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to say that, you know, what, like that this anime has bad voice acting in dub, but then it's like, I'm clearly not hearing the same thing you are, because I'm like, that sounds just fine. I don't know. It's a very wishy-washy thing.
Like,
Demon Slayer.
Like me, when it comes to me personally, like I was a Batman fan, like as a youngling, you know, like, and like, so like all like from the movies to the video games to like the even in the comic books, I have this vision of Batman. You know, I have this vision of Batman, and when I see this vision of Batman from everything that I've seen and read and all of that, I see Ben Affleck. And like before I saw Ben Affleck, I went into the Christian Bale movies hoping that I was going to see the Batman that Ben Affleck came out with. You know, that's like, because like this is a live action, like, you know, because like, you know, as a child, you know, you see the George Clooney's and Adam West and all that. I'm like, man, but this is supposed to be like the real deal, like the action. And I was like, okay, we're about to see what I came to see. And I got Christian Bale, and that's like, it was cool for the time. Like at the time, I was like, okay, it's a step,
Right.
It's a step better than, you know, the George Clooney and Adam West, you know, because it's a little bit more serious. But then watching, but then but you know, when you get back to the game though, but you know, like, man, like this is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck did that. Like when I saw Ben Affleck, it was like mixed between the game, the animated series, the comic books. Aside from if people want to complain about the killing, but if you don't pay attention to the killing, you're like, dang, this is Batman.
Or if you understand what purpose the killing had in the story compared to, say, a Michael Keaton, once again, fantastic Batman, makes my number 4, but he was just killing just for the sake of it. And then when it came to him and Selena, when he was like, Selena, don't kill Max Schreck. And it's like, but you literally stuffed dynamite down the dude's pants an hour ago in the movie. I don't trust your judgment on this right now.
He kind of died.
Yeah, he died. All right. There was exploding body clown fat man chunks.
You sound like my parents trying to rationalize.
Unless he had anti-bomb undergarments on.
Okay, but last word on this, because one last retort to your point, Tori. Think about this. Digest this point for a moment. And what you said about like how you've seen Paris, so to speak, and now you're back to the States and you're like, dang, I want to go back over there because that's better.
Wow.
But what you've like, take it this way. I had every reason that I could have to dismiss Robert Pattinson because we're back to the armored bodysuits and quote unquote realism. That his head looks all weird in the mask and his cape doesn't reach down to the floor. The dude has a flying squirrel suit instead of gliding on bat wings. But for what it is, I can appreciate it. Just like for what it is, I can appreciate Christian Bale, even though Ben Affleck is my favorite. I'm not taking anything away from this just because it's not exactly what I want.
I need to chime in here.
I
had a very similar experience. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
That show is so underrated. So underrated.
That is the image of Sherlock Holmes that I had as a child, and I thought he was the bee's knees. Okay, he was my animated crush. He was perfect. And then freaking Robert Downey Jr. It didn't work for me. All right, we all have our different perspectives. It did not work. I couldn't even I watched the first one. I was like, nah.
But I can imagine
moments in there. It was cool and inventive, but he wasn't he wasn't the gentleman, any of those things, that I kind of had put in my head as what would have been a good, portrayal of Sherlock Holmes. And it was I couldn't get into him. Period.
Right. But you could say even to that end, hopefully you've got the distinction to say this I don't like just because of my tastes, and this I don't like because of insert valid argument here, right? when people get those two mixed up, that's what drives me up the wall.
But then we have that Man of Steel thing. You
look,
know.
I know you be tripping. Look, but here's the thing. Even on that, you had a point. It's a point that can be argued out.
I know, but I can raise actual valid points about the Sherlock Holmes movies. There were some holes and some lulls and some things that were going on.
Those were some of my favorite movies, though. I'll let you have that.
An overall good movie. Okay. Anyway, I'm done.
So basically, what I'm hearing is Tori sucks.
His opinion, the way that he formulated his opinion sucks. That's it's
Wait a minute. What did I do?
The distinction. That's what's important.
But listen, and here's another thing I had about the Batman thing. Joe already knows what I'm about to say. How I feel about realism when it comes to Batman movies.
Trapped in anime, not trapped in Batman or Christian Bale specifically.
Listen, or the drunk night, because we did that.
I will save this because all right.
Tori,
So-
look, man, we
I don't know if
gonna
you
be living
know,
together for like the next
Some you
within
need
the
to
month.
check out
So
the old
just
YouTube
saying.
videos. Please do that. Please do a deep dive. Deep dive.
All right.
Very necessary.
Drunk Night.
Sort by
Show us-
oldest to newest.
Please do that.
Find it. Show us the hashtag. Show
Drunk
us
night.
the drunk cut.
Okay,
Show
now
us the drunk
that is
cut.
when I met Joe and Dave. Is when they were doing drunken night, and I
Yeah.
was like, "What? This is what you adults do in your spare time?"
Yeah.
High school.
What the
I was in
cool
high
ones do
school.
anyway.
I know, and then
you
there
know,
was
it's
the
funny.
Batmobile.
That's how I met. That's how I met Joe and Mike and Dave and everybody else.
So
That's
a little
awesome.
Jameer and
yeah.
Rocky.
A little context on
That's
that
right.
one. So Drunk Night was a series
Oh,
that we
yeah.
did. I played this character who, whenever he gets drunk, he thinks he's Batman, hardcore, and then he just goes ape shit and causes chaos, destruction. He pretty much dies like every other week. Then we don't acknowledge it because of continuity. It was a fun series. Unfortunately, like it was just like we were running it simultaneously with Trapped in Anime towards the beginning.
Yeah.
But between, with we were at a very limited capacity back then, so we had to kind of allocate which resource we had to put towards which one. Trapped in Anime was taking off like crazy. Drunk Night was a little stagnant at the time, so it's like, okay, let's shelve this project for now. Doesn't mean it can't come back though. So
No, for sure. And actually, that's a
Yeah.
good segue. That's a good segue from this whole thing, which is hilarious, by the way.
clever like that, yeah.
How do you decide, like, an idea for like do you just happen to be like watching anime, in your living room, and then you're like, you start a new one, and you're like, oh man, this would be funny to make a video out of if we do this thing, or like, oh, this week's episode is on, and it's like they show some new thing, and you get an idea, or do you get an idea randomly other times when you're just, what if you're like, where I guess I should ask, how do you get an idea for like, oh, I want to make a parody out of that,
Right.
because
I definitely-
these parodies aren't just like parodies of anime; they're parodies of specific things in anime. Like with the Enel thing, that was like a parody on him specifically because he has the Logia, or not Logia fruit, but the lightning fruit, right?
Mhm.
So
and
like,
and then he just so happened to be working for an electric company, so
yeah,
you kind of find ways to put two and two together.
yeah.
Um,
Because they're like specific things in anime, not just the anime themselves. So I'm wondering, like, how do you get the idea? Like you just had happens, or you're watching the anime and it happens, or what?
It's a good mix of both, like, the strategic side of things, and also sometimes inspiration just hits you in the most random times at the most unexpected places. We've got a pretty good workflow with the team. We have regular meetings towards the beginning of the week. We have more of like the pre-production and conceptualizing. Then towards the middle of the week, it's like, okay, here's the game plan for this weekend. This is what we're shooting. This is who's editing it, et cetera, et cetera. Then we have regular link up days where we meet up, shoot however many videos we need to get through that day. And so we just try to keep it as a well-oiled machine. As far as like where the ideas themselves come from, like I said, sometimes an idea just might hit us, and I'll get a call at like 4 a.m. from Dave, and he's like, bro, I got an idea. And I'm like, all right, let's hear it, man. Even though I got to go to work that next morning, but I don't care. So you'll get a mix of that, or it'll be a matter of, we're all sitting at the round table going like, all right, what's coming up next? What's relevant? What can we make out of this? Or here's something that is relevant. How can we put a spin on that and make it our own, and put a spin on a trend? So it's a good mix.
Scam calls is a great example.
Well, there you go.
Because scam calls have just been plaguing everybody's life. So it was kind of like a discussion topic, it would be funny if, and then it was kind of like, I think it was Dave that was like, he thought it would be funny if we did the Death Note route, because it was kind of like, you all kind of wish that we could get the scammers back in some kind of way. It's like, sometimes we'll start with the anime, and then other times we'll start with the normal life idea and then kind of transfer it to an anime character, or look for the parallels, and where we can kind of make that connection.
Yeah, and I think the connection, finding that and putting two and two together between the reality and the anime side of things, I think that's the most consistent detail. It's just one of those chicken and egg scenarios as far as which comes first.
And with me, like I'm always thinking of something random. Like it just pop in my head. Half the time it's like half baked or makes no sense to anybody. Like it'll sound amazing in my head, and then it just doesn't come out verbally how I want it to. So
But we all kind of jump in and finish
yeah,
the idea.
Right.
Half the time it kind of comes as a concept, and then we have to all kind of jump in and finish it.
most
Yeah.
definitely.
Like Tori, I could say you and me are similar in that regard from time to time, where sometimes like an idea, like I said, will just come to me out of nowhere and I'll be like, hey, there's something here that we can do with that. I just don't know how to work it, or where does the video end, like what's how to stuff like that. So
Yeah.
and I definitely work better too when I'm able to like bounce ideas off the crew as well, like if we've
Most
got that
definitely.
chemistry. So
I've gotten to the point where I got to keep a notebook with me because when you're out in public and you'll think something random will pop into your head, or you'll see something
Mhm.
while you're out and about. You're like, oh, that is hilarious. I bet. And then you got like, and then later you don't pay attention to it. Then later on, like, man, what was I thinking about earlier? But like, I feel like I encourage everybody to carry a notebook or something you can take
Mhm.
notes with at all times, because just look around. Ideas for content is plentiful.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you a quick funny story here too. Back in the drunk night era of the videos that we were doing, my roommate at the time, he had a dream, because he was a fan of the content as well. He had a dream that played out like a drunk night episode of like a bank robbery, and then them turning it around, and my drunken character actually does something right for a change and stops these bank robbers, and then it turns into them taking the money that they stole because they were behind on rent. That video, that idea just hit him randomly in a dream, and then he gave it to us to turn into an actual video. So crazy stuff like that is able to happen, and a lot can happen over the last like 5 to 7 years.
So your ideas come from just anywhere, and then when it come time to come in the writer's room, you're like, okay, this is what happened to me last night. Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. Like I said, like a random idea might come to me at work, or it may be a halfway done one, and I just need someone else to help me kind of flesh it out. During our regular meetings, we'll be like, okay, here's, we need new video. So here's idea X, Y, and Z. Can any of these work with? We might get objections and say, that's a good idea, but how would we pull off this effect? All kinds of stuff. So luckily, I'd like to think we've got kind of the hang of it.
It's like
Kind
it's
of.
like a puzzle, and everybody comes with all the pieces we need every time we get together.
And
Yeah.
then sometimes we have things like the Will Smith slap.
Oh no, I'm telling you, it was literally, this is a true story, everybody. I was up, like the day of the slap, I was up just chilling on my computers, playing like Devil May Cry or something. And then I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh snap, it's 4 a.m. I need to get up and go to work. So then I'm like, all right, turn off the computer, getting ready to go to sleep. I get a phone call from Dave. Him and his girl had come up with the idea of doing a street survival video for the Will Smith slap. And he's like, all right, when are you trying to shoot this? And then Dave is like, bro, I'm crazy. I'll come over tonight. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then by 5 a.m., boom, we were in my garage shooting the street survival video. And we got it out like, I think the next day. And then that video blew up. So
like
mission accomplished. Yeah.
It literally was the next day, because it came on my feed literally. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, that was, I mean, it's kind of an unfortunate event, obviously, but like it almost be not smart to hop on and make a little humor out of it, you know what
especially
I mean?
When like the topic was literally like, like we kind of have that, the ass man, he's always doing the physical stuff, so it kind of actually went together. And I believe like the week before that, we had a meeting where we were like, hey, we need more ass ideas, we're about to, we need because it was kind of getting more popular,
right?
So we were kind of looking for more skits to do and things like that anyway. And it was just like I didn't know. I was like, am I having a fever dream? I woke up in the middle of the night and I didn't know that Mike had already posted something. We have a chat between all of us, and then I posted something else. And then I guess Dave rolled over and saw it. But yeah, that was
So your idea is just like, I mean, I think here's the thing too. And when I was younger and I was going to college, and I went for graphic design. in multimedia.
Okay.
We took a couple film courses, and I was just not good at coming up with ideas for like videos. I was good at like doing them, like filming them and whatever, like, you know, but like I'm also just a bad writer. So like I when it came time to like I'm currently working on this comic for our patrons on Patreon.
Very nice.
And when it came time to, it's a manga, right? So like I don't know if you saw my Discord picture earlier, but that is me in that manga because it's like a delinquent gang like manga.
Okay.
And and so when it came time to like write it, I was like, well, I'm basically just taking shonen tropes and throwing them in there. So like that's just what it is. It was easy for me to write, right? But like then I realized that I actually kind of did like a story, and I was like, oh crap, like I actually have to like progress this somehow. Like, and it's sometimes it's hard to get ideas. Like I think with movies and film or even shorts or whatever, it's got to be 10 times harder, right? You know, because like, you know, I can just sit here and draw, and if I make a mistake, I'll just erase it.
Right. Yeah.
And then with film, it's like, okay, we were supposed to go film at this location, but now the weather is crappy, or you know, things like that.
We know about crappy weather.
You know all about that one.
Yeah. And so that's just like really cool to me, you know. Even I think people don't realize, people think like, oh well, anyone can make a movie nowadays. They just have a TikTok or whatever, and then just film a 10-second thing. And it's like, no, like, I mean, there's people on TikTok who like heavily like, because the way the editor works on TikTok, right? It's like there's people who make like really cool, crazy videos just with that app alone, and it takes time. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
There's nothing easy about any kind of like content creating ever. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think that's why I was kind of like asking about the creative process a little bit, because I was just like, you know, like it's just really funny because you guys really capture those, especially like the gas prices one. The gas prices in anime, like
It's my car.
Yeah.
That's my car in the background. I was so happy.
It's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
I you guys really capture that. Like I can almost see Joe like making, like he's making the faces and doing the actions, right? But like I can see him in like anime form doing it as I'm watching it, you know? And I think that's the whole idea, right? It's just it's perfect. So
You know what? We thought that idea up after a shoot. We realized we couldn't do another skit that we had thought about doing that day. It was like, these gas prices are crazy. We thought up some funny stuff, and we put it in there.
Yeah. Like I said, you
that
be
one was.
surprised.
I remember that because it's crazy that it did so well.
Yeah, but again, that was one of those strike while the iron is hot type of ideas. So sometimes we can bust out some crazy kung fu to come up with some stuff. And so I'm like you sometimes, where it's like very difficult to kind of think up ideas in a vacuum. I can even say for me, as kind of like the lead storyboard artist for the group, a lot of times too, I might have either an outline to work from that maybe we've worked on together, or someone to kind of hand it off to me and said, hey, can you put this in storyboard format? And I might have like, sometimes for me, when I'm making a storyboard, I almost need to be in just a good rhythm. Or even I'll just kind of cook up the visuals before I cook up the dialogue, just because I need the process to play out for me naturally. So yeah, maybe that's something that helps too. And I like that you mentioned this whole idea about like where some people think that content creation is so easy. And that's the thing, is to an extent, it's easy. It's easier than it's ever been, but it's also harder than it's ever been too, especially considering that so many people are trying to get into it, but opportunities really are like few and far between. And there's only so many hours in a day, and people only have so much time to engage with your content. So I've always believed if you're in the marketplace for people's attention, you are literally in conflict with anything and everything that exists. So you've got to really focus on making yourself stand out, on top of just learning the platforms that you're on and learning how to play the game, and gut the algorithm to try and maximize your views and your follows and stuff like that. So it's really crazy business, and we are very lucky to have made it as far as we have and seen the progress that we have, because a lot of people unfortunately just don't really make it past like a certain point, which is very sad.
No, that's so funny that it's so funny that y'all say that, because like that's definitely the discussion we've had on my podcast like many years ago. Now
Mhm.
we just pump them out weekly just because we love it, you know. But
Yeah.
back then when we were like starting the Patreon and stuff and doing some other stuff, um, and we still care about like getting successful now, of course, but like, um, it's kind of, and also like our market is niche, right? We're mostly target, you know, the anime community,
Right.
and um I think that's what's kind of cool about doing these extra episodes as well, because now me and Danny, my co-host, can talk about movies with cinematography, and then I can talk about other stuff. I was like, you guys, let's just do these EX episodes for fun. We can talk about whatever. It doesn't even have to be anime, you know. So now I have like I guess I had Noxie from Project Manga guests on, and we talked about the TMNT comics, the IDW run of TMNT,
Yeah.
which I don't know if you guys read, but you guys got to read it. It's fucking wild. But like, you know, it's like, man, I got to talk about it. You know, like as a content creator, I have to talk about this because it's so cool. I know it's not anime, but I have to say something, right? And I think I think it's important when you do things like you guys have kind of found a weird, awesome middle ground, because like pumping gas in anime, like pumping gas is an issue everybody has. And
Absolutely.
then anime is like, you know, this is just like the background that you're putting on it. And that's perfect, right? And people know the basic idea of anime, right? Like the general public, people who aren't in anime, they know the basic idea of it. They could watch the pumping and gas anime video and be like, oh my God, this is hilarious. This is totally what they do in Dragon Ball or whatever, right? Like just like,
Right.
you
Exactly.
know, with their limited knowledge, you know, and then potentially get into anime that way. And that's like our goal, right? That's like what we're doing as creators, is trying to get more people into anime, have fun, watch anime with us. You know, I think that's why I was excited to have you on in the first place, because I was just like, these guys are doing exactly what we're doing, and I just in a different way, and I just need to talk about it with them, and then plus geek out about anime after, you know. And so like, I think that's great. I think that's so, I'm so glad that we can talk about that, like have a creator discussion about that, because like sometimes it's just like you never know what's a good balance. Like, are you doing too much? Does it feel like a job? Are you not doing enough? Who else are you competing with? Do you have to compete, you know? And it's like it's wild. It's sometimes you don't know what to do, you know.
Yeah, and again, those are also really good points to bring up too, because of like that whole idea of like striking that balance of even just like, is this a video that's for general audiences, or is this one that's trying to tap into a very specific audience of a particular show within the anime community or whatever? Or if you're lucky, can it capitalize on both? Like the whole power outages in anime, where on first glance, you understand enough about anime where you can just be like, okay, all this crazy over the top weird shit and powers, that's anime. I get it. But then from like someone who is a One Piece fan and was like, oh snap, they're making a parody of Enel, then you have that extra little icing on the cake for them so that they get it. So yeah, I think that's
exactly. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's a good lucky middle ground on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, but I think also too, when it comes to like because like we said, it is very challenging. But I think one thing that keeps me motivated going forward, and the teammate has already heard me plenty of times, I hate my day job. Ideally, I'm trying to cut that out and put more time into Trapped in Anime and into film and growing and expanding that. But the way that I stay focused is I'm kind of tired of the mentality of, you ask somebody, what do you do for a living? What do you do? What's your job? And then you put the thing that you actually don't care about, but it forces its way into being a priority just because it's your source of income, it's your livelihood, but it's not the thing you really want to do. For me, the thing that I really want to do, the thing that I enjoy the most is working with the team in Trapped in Anime. That is me. That is my thing. No, it's facts. But then when it comes to like, delivering packages for Amazon, I just say, that's my day job. I need to separate myself from that so I can stay focused on the things that actually matter. So that's why the phrase that keeps coming back is, it's problems I'd rather have. It can be stressful looking at the numbers. If you see a video go out that doesn't get the views or that you want, or you're mulling over, I've got to get this storyboard done before the weekend. I don't know how to end this video. I would rather be stressing out over that, over I hope it doesn't rain today. There's going to be dogs out on the yard, stuff like that. Stuff like that doesn't matter.
Yep.
I don't care if the company makes fantastic plus on its scorecard, but with the other dispatchers, I don't care. That's not important to me.
Yeah, that's definitely how I am, because like when you when you choose to do content creating, you know, and then when you're around other content creators, you're around more like-minded people who share the same passion. It is a million times different going from that and then going to work with people who either don't understand or aren't interested, or people who just know nothing, you know, don't know nothing about it. You know, it's a big shift in energy. And like I enjoy being around other content creators. I enjoy content creating, and anything else, the passion isn't there. You know, that's why I can't see myself doing a regular 9 to 5 for the rest of my life, because my heart's not there. My heart is in the content creating, and that's where I feel at home. You know, anywhere else feels foreign to me.
Yeah. And I can say one last word from that on me is like, I'm an Indy native here in Indiana, in Indianapolis. I lived out of town for like a good 3 years up in Muncie for a while. And then eventually I moved back here into town. And one thing that I told myself since then was, as soon as I move back, I want to associate more with quote unquote my people, gamers, comic book fans, anime fans, actors, martial artists, stuff like that, because that's where I'm most comfortable. Like, this is the people that I can shoot the shit with and turn up and all this other stuff, because I feel genuinely comfortable. So, and I'm happy to say that I've essentially been kind of living the life. Like, I get to go to conventions and go to fighting game tournaments and, make stuff with my team, and people treat me well. People respect me for talents that I actually have. So there's really nothing like it, to be honest.
No, and that's you guys. That's perfect, because like you guys answered my question. My next question was like, what are some challenges you face as a content creator doing what we do, which is anime stuff, right? But I think the conversation kind of just naturally went that way. But like, okay, those are amazing, and that's amazing, and I'm 100% there. Mattia, what would you say is a challenge for you in that aspect, or in that being the editor, or being one of the editors?
It's like time, and like having that mental space to be able to clear your mind, like, and just edit. Now I have been kind of like working part-time off and on kind of for the past couple of months, because I started doing school, and then Trapped in Anime came up, and I was like, I'm gonna like not work for as long as possible so that I can like, help out with editing and get caught up to speed, and try to get there mentally, and then I was going to try to work it into my schedule.
Absolutely.
But at this point, it's like it's become like a financial thing. So now, I've gone back to work. I just started this week, and I've got to this weekend kind of get into my swing of doing both.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. It's really kind of cool. It just so happens that the job that I have, I think it's going to be kind of like a well that I can draw from as far as my creativity. I work at the airport. I'm meeting pilots every day, and I drive a shuttle bus, basically.
Nice. Okay.
So it's kind of cool, interesting perspective. They're really talkative. I know I'm going to get a lot of stories. They were talking to me today.
Oh man!
So it's gonna be
stories lead back to Trapped in Anime. We need that.
Yeah, well, 100%.
Well, I think that's what's funny, right? Because like as like creators, whether you're a comedian or a musician or an actor or filmmaker, like or what a podcaster, like what we do, it's kind of like we see things and like journalistically report back to our audience in that fashion, whether it's a parody of something or a story. I'm sure Mattia easily could hear a story about a pilot, and you could make a a parody, like a Gundam parody out of it. You know, instead of a plane, it's a
Hey,
Gundam or
yeah.
something like that.
that one might have to go on the list. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want credit. I want credit.
No, we'll
Hey.
shout you out the door.
I know
Yeah.
most of my idea when I come up with something, I'm at work and I work for the casino, so
Yeah.
it's a lot going on around there.
Yeah.
Casino stories, man. Like just like because it's open
Now-
all the time, and then you get that one weirdo who just is like they have to get their.
I'm sure you've met your fair share of characters.
One.
Oh,
Yes.
Now, I just want to know, Sam, have you ever heard of the Redwall book series?
Yeah.
Okay, so Brian Jacka is the guy who wrote the books. I don't know if I'm saying his name right or what. Probably,
Yeah.
maybe.
Brian,
That
I think
guy.
it's Brian Jacques. Yeah. Or, yeah.
Jacka. Oh, Jacques, just period. Okay,
Yep.
my bad. I can't.
I don't remember if it was like Jacques or Jacques or something like that. It's like French. Or
It's
something.
Queus at the end. That's all I know.
Jacques.
That's why I said Jacques. I don't know how I was pronouncing it. Okay, but
Jackie
that
Chan.
guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was like a jack of all trades. The man did like literally everything. He worked on a boat, a fishing boat for like a couple months or something like that. And he was out at sea for a bit. He was a boxer for a little bit. He did all kinds of like odd jobs and stuff. And when I was younger, I looked at that like the story of the man that wrote the Redwall series, and I was like, this guy had to do all those things. And he was talking about how he took from his time on the sea, right? In one of the books that was basically, I think it was the Red Squirrel or something like that. I don't know the names of all the books, but I read a couple of them, and he would have a portion where they were at sea. He'd have fights and all kinds of, really good action that he would write. And I was like, well, how do you get that much knowledge? I used to try to write books and stuff like that. And I'm like, I have to do research because I don't have any life experience.
Right.
I was young, so I kind of took a note from that. And where a lot of people would be like, oh, well, you're moving around jobs a lot. But I've done so many things and met so many different kinds of people. And now it's just another way for me to meet more different kinds of people. Like I went from home health, helping people inside their homes, cleaning. Oh my gosh, as a maid, you hear the darndest things. You see the family dynamics. You're picking up the toys and the kids are running past you, and and they're making a mess again, and you hear the arguments and all that. Like there's so much, in just living and getting those life experiences that translates to artistry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's another thing that people don't understand is like we're just sitting around writing stuff, and it's like, no, like that's not we're actually like taking things we see, like, so it was not in like originally when I was writing my manga, right, for my patrons, I wasn't gonna like put animal characters in there, but I have like anthropomorphic animal characters in there. The only one I was going to put was Smokey, right? My cat Smokey, who I told you recently passed. But like he, because he's a joke on our podcast, right? Like we blame him for everything and whatever. And then I decided to like add him in just because like I was like, you know what? It would actually be funnier because I want to see Smokey kick another cat's ass. You know what I mean? Like, just like that'd be hilarious. And he was that kind of cat. He was a stray cat when I got him. You know what I mean? He was delivering the fresh paps. You know what I mean? He was sensitive. You know what I mean? So like, I think that's like totally worth it. Like, it's just like things you see, things I see every day. I see my cats every day. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and that's just at home. Yeah. So like, I think people, like that's another thing about creating is like, we're not just sitting around writing ideas. Like
you got to live it a little bit.
Yeah, we're like reporting things we see and telling you about it, and I think that's why being a comedian is a hard job, right? Because they have to turn their shit into jokes, you know. So it's like, oh man, I think even same for you guys. You have to like the battle with Enel, right? Just for I keep going back to that one because the One Piece on the top of my mind right now.
Yeah,
but like, that fight was hardcore. Just like that arc in general is hardcore, and you guys have found a way to turn it into a joke, and it was just really good. You know what I mean? It's like I think turning things into comedy can always be really tough, but I think you guys do that really well, honestly.
Yeah, and I can say definitely there's like some subjects where it's like I could very easily make a joke of this scenario. I think at the time as a group, we decided, let's not touch the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation as of right now. Very easily could have. That had a street survival video written all over it. But that's the one where it's like, you know what, let's let this one settle. That one's a little bit heavier. But then for the Will Smith one, that was one we could just poke like a little bit of a light jab at it and have some fun with it. But of course, we can acknowledge the reality of the situation is, very hard, I'm sure, for Will Smith and Chris and everybody involved.
Right.
But hey, credit to Will. I think he's one of the few people on the internet that's given like an actual apology.
Multiple.
Because I'm so tired of people
multiple. And he owned up to it though.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that I get tired of, watching like internet celebrities try to quote unquote apologize and doing their thumbnails where it's just them with no makeup and just says the truth or something like,
oh God.
it always just turns into, they say they're sorry, but then they're making excuses and stuff. Like, it's like, that's not a real apology. You say you know what you did wrong, you acknowledge why you did it wrong, and you pledge to not do it again. Is that too much to ask?
I'm sorry that you felt I did something wrong.
I mean, gosh.
Or,
Toxic X.
Non-apology, like, oh, thanks for your non-apology. You dick. Like, well, I wasn't in the right state of mind. I was doing this. It's like, okay, nobody knew that, and therefore nobody really cares.
Oh, have you heard the one of, I only did it because I felt like my audience expected me to do it.
Oh, yeah, God.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of town.
Yeah. Trying to deflect it onto your audience. Shut up.
I think that's another thing too, is like, talking with your audience too is like a big thing that I think is important. Like I always tell my audience, especially when I used to do the newscast, which I don't anymore, but like, it's on hiatus. But like, I'll always tell them things like, hey, if I'm getting something wrong, tell me, because I want to come correct, obviously, But I'm sorry, Mattia, I cut you off. But you were going to say something.
Oh, no. I think I would have just been agreeing, nodding with my voice.
Sure. But
yeah. Anyone just find the concept of celebrity just so weird?
Yeah, no, it is weird. It's super weird.
Yeah.
It's super weird. Like, and especially like, just to bring it back to what you said earlier, about how Trapped in Anime took off, right? Or just like, just your channel in general took off because of the Trapped in Anime stuff. Like the first time I ever got I got a Discord message, and it was somebody who was just like, and we only had like, I think we were only a couple years in, at this point, and like somebody was like, dude, I listen to your podcast every week on the way to work, and it makes everything so much easier going to work because I have a long commute, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, it's like a little thing, right? But it made such a big deal to me, because then that's kind of like the point where you're kind of like, okay, well, I think I'm doing something right. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. No, because like for me, I don't think I'll try to, part of it is me just trying to stay humble and not let it get to my head, but I don't think I'll ever actually get used to it. One small story, there was a short film that I was in for a friend of mine, and he actually had like a real quote unquote premiere for it, rolled out a red carpet, had a showing for it at a theater in Indy. And I was there, and it's like, I'm looking at this carpet on the ground, and I'm like, I'm not allowed to step on this. So I go around, but it hadn't processed like, oh, you're one of the people that can walk on this thing. And then people are asking for my autograph. I'm like, okay, I don't know if it'll be worth something with anything, but here, yeah, have at it. Go ahead. I'm in the movie. I can walk on this. I totally forgot. Like, right. No, I did. I honestly forgot for a minute. It was real trippy when we went to Brooklyn Comic-Con. Like that was a pretty big one. We've gone there recently. That was like a convention that we'd actually been invited to go. So that first and foremost was a pretty big deal. And when you're walking around in the anime street survival gear and people are recognizing you, going like, oh my gosh, you're the guy from the promo, you're the guy from the street survival videos, and you get to pretend to be the movie star for a day. So it was very trippy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretend.
No,
it wasn't pretend.
No, that's just how I look at it, because it's like, I'm just another person. Just, they're just as capable of doing this stuff as I am. I'm just lucky enough to have the resources, the time, the ideas, the team. It's a perfect storm. That's how I put it.
I'm glad this conversation went the way it did, honestly, just because like, it turned into like, I was like trying to interview you guys, but then it turned into be like dude, me too. Like, like, and then that's real though. Like people will listen to this and be like, that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've had DMs from people saying things like, dude, Sam, I want to start a podcast. What do I do? And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
We're all just
Like,
trying to figure it out.
Listen, the best, I mean, any kind of question that you have, whether it's starting a podcast or creating content, if you ever is like, man, what do I do to start? Just do it.
Just do it. That's literally what I tell them.
And here's the other kicker. It's once you hit those roadblocks, you've got to find the strength to keep going.
Yeah.
Something, how many success stories do you hear of people that had to make crazy sacrifices to keep following their dreams until they made it? Like Steve Harvey, I think, was at one point like living out of his car while trying to make it as a comedian and as an actor. And eventually it paid off.
Yeah.
Even for someone like myself, where if I wanted to, I could probably try to go for like freelance and try to sharpen my skills and do like illustration or voiceover works. But I can admit to myself that there are some things that I would probably have to give up in order to do that. So to an extent, I'm kind of playing it safe and working with the group and trying to push forward that as like the career path. But, even for like what we're doing now, there's going to be those roadblocks and you're like, okay, we're stagnant. It's not growing. Do we stay or do we go? Do we keep going or do we say it was a good run, call it quits? And I've got a lot of friends who are trying to get into content creation too. And some of them just hit that point where they're like, all right, let's just call it quits. But it's like, if you just take the time to examine, here's why we think this is not working. Here's what we think we can do to try and make it work, which all this stuff is theoretical. There's no real hardcore answer out. Like,
No.
You're really just doing the best you can as often as you can. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
There's too many recipes to stop at just one dish.
Right.
That's all. That's the way I look at it.
Right.
So if one recipe isn't working, let's try another one. Because there's too many. There's too many to just stop at just one. Like if that, like it's. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just saying like, just like some people are great at doing certain videos and like, okay, then you just got to look at it from a different direction, or try a different angle from it. Like, but there's too much water in the pond for you to jump in and stay dry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm loving these
to
like
put some poetic quotes. Snaps on that.
These Bushido code quotes are like said that are like making me like hype right now.
Oh, we got plenty. Don't worry.
But like, that's exactly true though, because like, and I mentioned earlier that I stopped doing the newscast, and it's like, I didn't really tell my listeners, like, I didn't tell them that I'm going to quit doing it. I just kind of said, I got to find a different way to do it because right now it's taking a toll on my mental health, in which I can't perform my regular podcast like perfectly. And I want to be able to do that. So like, will I ever come back to it? I think I will. It just takes time. You know what I mean? I think, and it's funny because as soon as I like announced it on my Discord and said it on Twitter, I had patrons in the patron only Discord channel be like, don't worry about it. Do what you can when you can do it. Worry about you first because we care about you before we care about the podcast. And I'm like, okay, wow, I guess I didn't need to cry today, but I guess that's what we're gonna do. Like,
listen, there is nothing.
But that's
wrong.
Them good tears. There you go.
There's nothing wrong with crying.
Yeah, no.
Right? Listen,
yeah, no.
Whenever I want a good cry, I'll throw on anime scene that I know it's just going to mess me up.
Fruits Basket for me.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I was gonna say
the entire Fruits Basket series.
I was gonna say let's go around and talk about a scene that made us cry right quick because Fruits Basket.
No spoil. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody.
Okay, I'll just say Fruits Basket definitely was one of the latest things to send me. Like I love, girl.
Yeah. No, when I need to cry, when I just need to let it all out, I will go back and probably watch the original Fruits Basket, honestly, just because of the nostalgia aspect of it. Oh my gosh, there were so many things in there. Toru was sadly very relatable to me. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Did you watch the new one?
I did. And I did God. Like, what the heck was the end? I was like, what's this ending? But I guess it kind of ended like the comic book did. It just kind of skipped and blurred past everything. And here's the ending. It's basically the comic, it's like the manga.
Right. Yeah, we got a special screening of the Prelude OVA. And so we got to watch that before it came out. And I kind of hated it because like the first half of it was just like a compilation movie, and I was like, wait a second, I thought this was like a whole nother thing. But like, no, yeah, that and like actually, dude, actually, when Tanjiro
Oof.
at the end of Mugen Train,
Oof.
when Tanjiro's screaming at him in the forest as he's running
Oh
away,
yeah. Oh yeah.
he's like, you didn't win, he won, you lost, and he's like breaking down. I'm like, oh, bro,
Oh,
don't do this to me right
listen,
now.
listen. Some of
Oh,
those
yeah, they got
demons,
me.
some of those demons had me choked up when they were dying.
The drum,
But-
the drum one, that one killed me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Even the one from the first trial,
Oh yeah.
when you find out that he just wanted to be with his brother.
Oh my god.
Don't talk about it.
Listen, wait a minute. I don't know if you've been down with Fire Force.
I'm not caught up on season 2, but yes, Fire Force is sick. Yeah, I love Fire Force.
Okay.
Exactly.
Have you seen? So you know who Arthur is, right?
Yeah.
His backstory.
Yeah.
That episode.
Mm.
I don't know if you saw. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that like a lot of times I'll go back and watch people's backstory videos because it'll it's guaranteed to make me shed a few thug tears.
Oh my God. Ooh, there's a really cute one I watch when I'm in a good mood. What's it called? My Love Story, Ore Monogatari.
So good.
Oh yeah,
It's so good.
Okay. Just saying, it's great.
That's like one of the best romance anime out there, honestly. Like it's
Period. It's my
Yeah.
favorite rom-com. Period.
yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Joe, what's an anime scene that makes you kind of, I don't know how often you cry, but like, is there one out there?
Understand, I am a very sappy dude when it comes to things that I like, and
I was
sometimes
gonna say most filmmakers are, so
yeah,
Like,
and sometimes it doesn't even have to be like an actual like really heartbreaking emotional moment. Like sometimes like I'll get to the end of playing Metroid Zero Mission and just hearing those last few notes on the music from the end credits will have me crying.
In
But-
the Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, see,
don't
for
even
me,
start.
when it
Don't even
comes
get me
to-
started.
yeah, like when it comes to anime specifically, ones that I know will consistently get me. Anytime I watch Vegeta die in Dragon Ball Z,
Oh my gosh,
Just bring that
those are
up.
big moments.
Wait a minute. When you talking about the Buu saga, right? When
I'm talking both Frieza Saga and Buu Saga.
I know.
those are
Man,
both
when he
different.
died in that ditch in the
Ooh,
oh,
What you
man.
talking about?
when he
in the-
starts crying, he made me what I am. Nah, that one
When
arrows through the heart. That one.
him talking to
forgot about
Trunks,
that.
that got me.
Oh damn! And the
He knocked him
Faulkner
out.
music, Faulkner Productions with that music in the
The
background.
Faulkner
you said,
music just
Yeah.
made it.
can't have it without it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even here's another one that hits not sad, but just like real like that inspirational, emotional moment in the beam struggle with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Perfect Cell, and like all his other teammates start joining in, even though they're not really strong enough, but they're gonna try anyways. That hit different. That was the one. And then they had the inner monologues. Tien like surpassing Goku has been my goal ever since at the beginning. If
Oh,
it
yeah,
weren't for
but-
him, I never would have gotten this strong.
I
And
bet
I
not
stood
hear any
there
of
and
that.
watched him die. I know. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to
Oh,
do
man.
this to you.
Listen,
But
we got my
We got
my
sometimes we
allergies
just gotta
acting up
feel
right
a little
now.
bit. That's all.
you got my allergies acting up. Damn,
Cutting
Hey.
onions over here.
it's just hay
pollen
fever.
everywhere.
It's just hay fever.
Stop cutting onions, man. Like, what are you doing?
Oh man, that one got me with the dragon theme in the background.
Why did you remind me of Vegeta? He
But
was my
sometimes we just need to
favorite.
be reminded. And here's the thing too. Some people
I
really
cried
are
so
out
hard.
here. This new generation. There's a lot of people out here talking a lot of smack about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And I'll admit too, for me, I don't get into it as much as like Dragon Ball Super. I've kind of let that go. But for me, when it comes to like the original, I look at Dragon Ball as something you have to experience as a whole. Because if you want to pick it apart detail for detail, you're gonna find weird ideas. You're gonna find inconsistencies. They blew up Earth's moon twice between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest, but it's still got a lot of heart. Like I said, those moments,
Right.
like when Dragon Ball wants to be taken seriously, it gets real, is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
it's
wait a
one of
minute.
those. It's one of the like first shonens, and it's like, I mean, there's plenty of shonens that came before it, but like it's one of the first that kind of had that formula.
Yeah, I
And
think
a
it's
lot of-
definitely earned the
like
title
when they-
of the grandpappy of shonen anime.
Yeah.
Didn't they kill her? Didn't they? Well, they almost killed Hercule and B. Boo's
Man, they
dog.
killed everybody.
Yeah.
They killed everybody. Get out of here. Everybody been brought back.
At some point they did,
The
yeah.
universe.
Yeah, technically technically everybody died in the Dragon Ball Z Frieza movie, that resurrection movie.
Yep,
It's different
you're
than
right.
the it's different than the canon, but like, yeah, they just went back in time or whatever. But like, which, by the way, like that, the movie fight scene was better than how they did it in Super, just because
Yeah.
like you just got to see Tien do like these like crazy like Aikido and like kung fu moves, and it was sick.
I was going to say, but a lot of times it doesn't even have to be sad to make me start.
No,
like,
true.
tearing up.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I could be watching an action scene or something that I was just so anticipated for, and like my adrenaline will just start pumping, and like the tears will just start coming. Like, have you seen any of My Hero Academia movies?
Okay, so I have not seen any of the movies because
Okay.
no one will watch them with me.
Have you watched the
That's
show?
unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm caught up with the show. Yep.
Okay, so all right, so the All Might versus All for One.
I cry every time.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that
exactly.
guy.
That
Yep.
speech, that speech that he gave,
Talk on it.
and when that flame went out, I'm like, the flame went out, but my face was wet. I'm like, oh my god.
And he
I'm like-
points, and it's
I
like,
felt
oh
like
my
he was
god.
pointing at me.
Oh
real.
my gosh.
I felt like
Honestly.
he was pointing at me. Like I
Mm.
could feel the heat from his finger, him pointing at me. Like I just knew he was talking to me the whole time.
But doesn't anime just do that though?
I
Man,
love
it got me, like I said, middle school, all them years. I feel like it's propped so many people up emotionally, like filled in the gaps that wasn't, the gaps that were not filled by maybe people around you at the time, stuff like that. Hearing something you really needed to hear, like you just said, like he was talking to you.
Like
Oh,
anytime I need some boost or some kind of extra serotonin, like I'll put on an anime to give me exactly what I need to hear, or that extra boost.
People don't get it. People are like, oh, it's childish, it's cartoons.
Like
Oh,
Naruto?
Get out of here
I
with
hate
that.
hearing
Like,
that.
there's
I
been-
hate
there's-
it.
no.
There's been plenty Naruto episodes or the scenes where I'm like, man, I feel like Naruto is me. I'm like, and then it's like, man, I feel that.
Yep. Yeah.
Now I got to take a brief aside to, if it's very anime-esque, but getting into the realm of video games, if you want something that'll consistently hit you in the fields, boys and girls, play the Yakuza series. That series will make a
Start.
man out of you in the best possible way. I'm just saying.
And
What
not in
was
like
it?
not.
I'm just saying, like, consistently, the
In the
games
best
will have
possible
moments
way.
that will make you laugh and cry, and sometimes at the same time. It's incredible. If I could, let me give you an excerpt here from
Oh
one of
my
the series.
gosh.
So there was like this mini game, or like, there's like these little underground fighting arenas that you can go to in some of the games. And in Yakuza 5, there's this guy who's fighting to get into it to fight against the main characters. And he's just, to qualify, he's just going around the street and just beating up people and saying, that fight was nothing. Why is everyone in this country so weak? And eventually your character gets to fight him in the final round, and listen to the wise words of Kiryu here. And he says, I don't understand. Why couldn't I beat you? I thought everyone in your country was so weak. And he says, you're just another fool who wears his misfortunes like a badge of honor. This country's full of them. Fools like you want to make others suffer just like they did. And they always seek their victimize those who are weaker than themselves. Parents beat their kids because they say they were abused as children. Swindlers claim they were victims of fraud. But true strength means overcoming such misery, not perpetuating it. That's real. That's why I fucks with those games.
That's good. That's good. That's
Oh,
good.
I love it.
Break the cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Time to grow up. Yeah.
An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
You got to see where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have like sonar vision or nothing like that.
See, now we're just straight up nerding out in here. I'm with that. I'm all
I know,
about that. I like what
It's transformed.
yeah, dude, like Metroid especially. Like a lot of people hated Other M, but I loved it. And
yo, right there with you.
Thank you. God.
Right there with you.
Son of a bitch. Like why people on haterade right away? I'm like, but like no, like as soon as the end credit music for Super Metroid plays, I'm like, I lose it every time. Like
every time.
Yeah.
Yo, Dread is now my new favorite video game. I love that fucking game so much.
I watched my cousin play it on his Twitch, and I was just like, "Man, this is sick! I gotta play it. I know what happens, but now I still want to play it because I'm just."
Like, experiencing is a whole different thing. Yeah. And there's of course like the debate, and I'm part of like some Metroid fan groups on like Facebook or whatever, and the constant debate is always between Super Metroid's better, this and this. They should never make a remake of Fusion and Metroid. And as soon as I played Dread, I'm like, yo, if you make remakes of Super and Fusion and have it play anything like this, give me 12 of them. I'll buy them all.
I'll buy a case. I'll buy a case right now. Yeah,
that's funny.
That's for real. Let me ask y'all this. Okay, speaking of which, like, what's y'all's favorite? Like, it's just because we're talking about video games now too.
Yeah.
Let's start with anime first though. What's y'all's favorite like anime right now that you're watching? Not of all time, but just like the thing you're watching right now where you're just like, man, this is it. I'm peeping this right now, like really hard.
I got a couple.
Okay.
Hey, same.
I got a couple. Like me, I love a good isekai. Like that's my jam. Like a lot of people give them flack, but isekais, that's my thing. Like Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime. It's one of my favorites.
You've been really loving that one too.
Listen, like if you saw this recent season, crazy. One Piece. I love that too. But I don't know. I have a thing like I love it when somebody gets isekai'd and they're just OP for no reason. That's how I like my video games. OP, maxed
I mean,
out.
if I'm gonna die and be reincarnated,
I
want to be OP.
I wanted to be well
right?
worth it. Why would I be reincarnated and be regular?
Even the
should have just left me gone.
Reincarnated as a spider. Even with that, it was
I
like
love that one too.
Yeah, it's like she thought that I say she. I don't even know. They. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a girl. Yeah, it was like
after the character was reincarnated. Yeah, and I'm like,
she was like this loner girl that like didn't really have no friends and all of that, and then boom, reincarnated.
I've seen so many reincarnations at this point. I've watched Otome game reincarnation things at this point. Like it's in my head. Reincarnated as a bookworm.
Saw that one.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Those are my thing. I love isekais. Like,
okay.
I love isekais.
It's funny because like on our podcast we talk a lot of shit about them because we're sick of them.
I believe it.
But this season has one that's kind of cool where it's this doctor who's also like a pharmaceutical scientist.
I watched that.
Dude, that was sick. That was
Otherworld Doctor or something like that.
Yeah. And he like gets reincarnated into this alternate universe in kind of in like a weird medieval time, not medieval,
I love
but like Victorian time where he's part of this family and their family name is like Pharma. And it's like,
oh, okay.
And he's able to like, so he's got knowledge of, he has this blessing power where he can make any like kind of ingredient with his body or with his hands.
Like an alchemy
like
type deal.
Yeah, like an alchemist.
Okay.
So he knows about ingredients that exist that other people don't, like glycerol and pyromethamine and things like that. So he can make medicines that aren't in the world yet, in that world. Okay. And it's super sick. Yeah.
That's what I love about those, because he got to retain his knowledge from his previous life. Like I love it when they do that. Yeah.
And like they told like a little backstory of him right at the beginning of the first episode, and it was really quick, but it was enough, and it was like his little sister died of cancer, and that's what made him want to become a pharmaceutical engineer and a doctor, and it was just really fucking cool.
They almost got me. They almost got me.
They got me.
It happened. It happened so. It happened so fast. I didn't get it time to tear up, but that part got me. But the fact that he spent every waking moment, dedicating his life to the medical field, like that's amazing.
To the point where he died.
Yes,
like
yeah, pretty much.
Gosh.
He overworked himself. Like,
God, can't believe
slept. Like I
gosh.
love those. Like those. Like that's what I like about isekais. Like, it's not too many that where it's just a complete scumbag being isekai, but then you have redo of a healer and
Right.
jobless reincarnation. But
Right.
jobless reincarnation it's amazing.
That just made me think of Morbius. It sounds like the better version.
It's Morbin time, dude.
Yep,
Let's go.
I was just waiting for somebody to say it.
That hurt. That hurt my soul. I know we're nerding out, but like, come on now.
I mean,
Flag on
I'll
the
see like
plate.
Morbius memes and I'll be like, wait, that can't be real, can it? Is
Stop.
that real?
The shoes? The shoes. The shoes. Did anybody else see the shoes? I've never noticed a pair of shoes in a movie in my entire life until the Doctor Who guy, Matt Smith, is wearing the most ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my life.
They were
In a-
probably very comfortable and medical
Stop.
shoes.
No, I thought that in my mind, but I just don't think that they were, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know why they put them in the movie. They didn't plug them or anything. Man,
Maybe someone's
Scarring.
nephew made him. He's like, hey, can you put these shoes in your movie, Uncle? And he's like, yeah, sure. I'll
animated
throw.
those shoes, Tori. Like in the moments when he was doing things, somebody
that's what I'm-
made an
Somebody's
animated-
kid designed them, because you know how parents get their kids drawing and may get a tattoo of it or something like that. That's probably what they did.
Hashtag
What
nepotism.
parents?
Okay, so Mattia, since you're already yelling, what's an anime you're watching right now that you're really into?
Gosh, at the moment, I haven't been watching much.
Well, you
I
just
got a
started a new job and
recommendation.
stuff, so
Yeah.
Yeah, really, it's been kind of dead for a little bit, and then
Yeah.
I've had a couple edits back to back past couple weeks, so nothing
Sure.
really. The one that somebody recommended is To Your Eternity.
yes, please watch it. Please watch it.
Okay, because I've heard good things.
But
I
also
just
like
haven't got a chance.
okay, so real quick, just eat something and then get a box of tissues and then watch it.
Noted. It's
Wait a
like
minute.
it seemed that way. It's like I was looking for an anime to watch at some point. I saw it and I was like, I don't think I can handle that right now. Like I just finished watching something else that was emotional and extra. So I was like, you know what? Let me take a break.
Yeah, To Your Eternity. That oh my
Also
gosh.
Utadi Hikaru does the opening for the first
Yeah.
Oh my
part.
gosh, don't do that. To
Wait, have
me.
you
I
are
gotta
you,
watch it now.
You're caught up on To Your Eternity, right?
The
Me?
anime, not the manga.
Yeah, the anime.
So actually I haven't seen like the last like 5 episodes, but like
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that man.
Spoil it. I haven't seen.
No.
any of it.
I like it. I like it. It's definitely another one of those. I'm gonna need me a
Or was it 4 episodes?
super
Yeah, I think I'm 4
absorbent.
behind. But yeah.
super absorbent blanket to cover these tears up.
Gosh. Ooh, I always plug this one though. Okay, side note. I know I said I'm not watching anime right now, but 12 Kingdoms. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not yet. No.
It is beautiful. It is very feminist. It's awesome. I
let's go.
believe it passes the Bechdel test like 100%, like
Nah.
with flying colors, and it's very old. Like it's really good. There's action and it's great. Like and it's okay. I don't know. I don't know why people don't talk about it more, but it's really good.
I'm
one I
writing
always
that down.
recommend.
I'm writing these down, by the way. Just so you
Hey,
guys know.
Sam.
It's
Yeah.
got that old kind of gore animation, like back in the day, when something would be gory, it's got
There
that
you go.
darkness to it. I love it.
Like Ninja Scroll and all that stuff.
Kind of
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
How'd you do with Ranking of Kings?
I
Cried
haven't seen it yet.
Me too. Me too.
every day.
Oh my gosh.
Boji the goat, my son.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, come on now. He needs a parade. Like if it was up to me, he would have one.
If Boji told me to kill everyone and then kill myself at the end, I would do it.
Oh my god.
I mean, like, you can't. How could you tell him no?
The one true goat.
Tori.
He deserves everything great in life.
He really does. And also that animation was just
I loved it.
holy crap.
I thought, like, just looking at the picture, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be any good. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not watching anything. Let me watch it.
I'm trying to find the name of the person who worked on that cut, but the fight at the end when he's fighting his dad.
Wow, just spoil it for everybody.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a spoiler kind of. Yeah, it's kind of spoiler kind of. But they used Blender and then they drew over it, obviously. But like, Yu Kawakami, that animator went crazy on it. Like it just, I mean, man, and also all the characters, like Queen Hilling, she's so fine.
Like, there you go.
She's so beautiful, and like at first they kind of paint her as like this bitch, but like until she actually has like these really good intentions, you know. Anyway, that's another recommendation for Mattia. There you go. you gotta watch Ranking of Kings. It's so good. Joe, what about you? What's an anime that you got going on right now?
As of right now, one that's definitely caught my eye, I've kind of started watching it, was one, and some people are probably going to groan and say it's mid, but I don't know. Look, I'm going to judge it on my own merits. Ergo Proxy. That one strikes me as very interesting. I don't even remember how it caught my attention in the first place, but I saw it. I saw the visuals. I saw the clip of like one of the Pinot when she was like reading a book and then someone's trying to ask her to do something. She's like, Pinot is reading a book. And it's like, all right, I'll just let you keep reading your book. So yeah, that one definitely caught my eye. Another one that's made my list, you know, once things get settled down, because I'm about to move, is the Ultraman show on Netflix. I really want to watch that one. And I think that I know you're making fun of me about the reasoning. That I don't know, that clip was funny. But the Ultraman show on Netflix, that whole 3D animation, it looks really good. I really got to start watching that one. For me, I can say like my favorite type of stuff that I find in anime, I definitely am into like the really over the top 90s ultra violent stuff like Ninja Scroll, or even something like Wicked City, which I acknowledge is trash, but for some reason I keep coming back to it because the visuals are crazy.
No, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Exactly. the people behind that were clearly going through some shit, but hey, I'm glad they got it out of their system.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I will say Shuko Murase did a lot of cuts in Ergo Proxy, and they worked on a lot of Gundam stuff and like dark atmospheric stuff. And it's such aesthetically pleasing to watch. It's so crazy. And I haven't finished it, but it's a really interesting anime. I think you would like it, honestly.
Yeah, because it gives me the vibes of like, you know, other stuff that I like too, aside from Yu Yu Hakusho and Trigun, which are among my favorites, like Ghost in the Shell. That was another big one for me. What's another one? I had drawn a bank of the other one too, but that was like, or even what's it called? Paranoia Agent, like, you know, ones like that are like real psychological.
Satoshi Kon, yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Perfect Blue?
Yes, I absolutely love Perfect Blue.
It's so good.
It's very interesting. Like that one kind of resonates too, you know, with someone in the creative field / acting or whatever. And you see that kind of dichotomy of like, you know, what the industry expects of you as like a character / performer versus like someone just trying to be themselves and live authentically. Stories like that are also really crazy for me. Like American Psycho was one of my favorite movies for that reason too. I think that movie is really smart. And again, Christian Bale knocks it out. But one thing I love about like that movie and stories like that is it's like, you have a guy that's trapped because he has made himself fit in too well, but now he's like basically killing people in order to stand out and telling people flat out like, oh yeah, I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane? And nobody cares. So whether he killed this amount of people or not, or if it was all a dream, it doesn't matter because the world still will not see Patrick. He's in his own personal hell of like, I'm invisible. I've made myself fit in too well. It's genius.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's full circle, man. You brought it back right back to Christian Bale.
I know, right? See, I'm just so good with it, bro.
Oh man. Hey, you know what? I think this is a really great conversation. I think I had a lot of fun.
Same here.
I really, if possible, I know we're busy. Like obviously, you guys are doing you guys are doing a lot, but like just like I think if you want to do like a cinematography episode with us, I would love that. I think something that I didn't realize is like you guys are filmmakers, right? And I think I was just kind of looking at your stuff as like I kind of forgot about the filmmaking aspect, you know what I mean? And then seeing how much you guys love movies, I was like, God, we have to talk about movies. Like I'm so down for that. So if you guys want to do that, I would love that. But one more time, if you guys want to tell everyone where to find you, and if you guys want to hear, Joe and Mattia and Tori back on the podcast again, let me know, because this is probably the most fun I've had doing an EX episode in a while. Well, actually, I recently did a One Piece episode because I was talking about One Piece, but
I love One Piece.
Yeah, if you want, it came out today. If you want to listen to it, well, when you're hearing this, but
actually, to rewind it a little bit, because there's one that is on my immediate list that I need to watch tonight. I need to get into that Tekken anime because I've been itching.
It's out right now. It's out right now. Yep, that's right. I think that looks interesting. A lot of people think the art style looks weird. I think it looks cool.
I got to get used to the weird triangular shadows thing, but other than that, everything else looks like it's right on point.
It looks better than the gameplay.
It looks way better than the stupid ass live action movie that I hated so much. That I actually wrote a paper about it in college. I hated it
so bad. So bad.
Well, we can save that one for that other.
Yeah. I just hated it when he came up and he was like, "This is Iron Fist." Like, oh my God, dude.
What?
Ooh.
What are you talking about? I don't know who Iron Fist is.
You almost made me grab the suitcase in my trench coat. Cutting deep, opening up old wounds.
Oh my God, so bad.
That is funny.
But yeah, dude, if you want to tell people one more time where we can find all your stuff, or just individual things, or if you guys got YouTube and Twitch accounts too, like where can we find all that? Because like after hearing this, I think people are gonna want to know. Like they gotta know.
Yeah, 100%. So once again, we are the team from Trapped in Anime. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We are at Trapped in Anime TV, or if you just search Trapped in Anime, not to humble brag, we'll usually be the first ones popping up. If you see my mug making a crazy pose in a purple background, you found us. Don't worry. Like I said, I'm usually at Joe Godhand wherever it is, but I'm not important. Just go watch Trapped in Anime. That's more interesting. But to these fine folks over here, go ahead and plug yourselves too. Let us know.
Oh, well, I mean, when you don't see me on Trapped in Anime, I'm on Instagram, Shingmaster, SHINGMASTA _SCF, Twitch. I'm about to get back into streaming, so it's the same thing. Shingmaster X the _. You don't have to do the _SCF, but I'm there.
Good stuff.
What about you, Mattia?
I've got Tomato Eyes on YouTube. I'm actually about to reboot my channel. I plan on October. So if you're interested in paranormal stuff or ASMR, actually, if you need a little something to help soothe you to sleep, then you'll be at the right channel. Other than that, I'm editing for Trapped in Anime, and you can follow us on Instagram, Trapped in Anime TV.
Facebook too.
Yes, Facebook too.
Okay, I just subbed. I was like, I gotta find Tomato Eyes right quick, and I subbed twice. I subbed with my personal account and sub with the Anime Summit account. So yeah, I got you. Yeah, dude. I'm also not subbed on Trapped in Anime. Wow, I am a fake fan.
What is going on?
It's all right.
Oh my God.
Listen,
fake fan.
Listen, in order to keep it fresh on my following, I will unfollow and then follow again. That way it stays at the top of the list.
Okay, nice. Yeah, dude, I loved having you guys on here. Like, conversation totally went somewhere else, but it went to the perfect spot at the same time because, like, I think I understand you guys on a deeper level now, and just like I think as a creator myself, I feel confident that I'm not alone, you know? So like
There you go.
really appreciate you guys taking the time and hanging out with me and just going off. I love it. I love it so much.
We appreciate the invite and
100%.
thank you for letting us be here.
Yeah,
Yes, it was a great
problem.
experience.
No problem. No
I
problem.
had
It
a
was
great
awesome.
time.
And actually, if you guys want to hear that, the Christian Bale conversation before that was recorded before the actual episode started, I'm gonna send it to these guys and they'll post it if they want to, and you can go find it on their stuff. Okay. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Go follow Trapped in Anime. This has been Anime Summit. I've been Sam, Joe, Mattia, and Tori. And yeah, love you guys. And this has been the Anime Summit podcast.
Love you more.
Thank you
Love
so
you.
much.
Love you more.
Nice.